Butler son, hang in there, hang in there. Can't get out. Beato called out to Butler repeatedly, shaking his shoulders hard, but by now Butler's eyes were blank. The words didn't reach him. Ben Castle and Erika had already left. The game was officially suspended until Butler could think of a new trick, but he was doubtful that it would be resumed even after 1,000 years or more. Okay, I'm heading off too. So long, you two. There's no need to say so long. We'll think of a trick in no time, and the game will resume. We won't take up your time, so stay here a little longer, please. We've thrown those same words out so many witches' mouths in the past. I've heard of hardly any who've actually managed to resume their games. As far as I know, the only two are me and Bern. Why would a person who knows about the hell throw another person... scusate, ok. Why would a person who knows about that hell throw another person into it? Just because they're bored? Is that all? Yeah, that's all. It's to escape from boredom. Because when we get bored, you remember that hell. And you know, by throwing someone else down into that hell, we realize that, we are the ones on the throwing side. And that means that we aren't in that hell ourselves. If we don't keep doing that, then the fear of that hell will overwhelm us. If you two manage to get out of it, then he can as well. I will save him, for certain. For certain? You stand before the wish of certainty, Lambda Delta, and swear a certain outcome? Yes, for certain. Very well. I was the guardian of the former you anyway. Though the current you is different, I'll do you one last favor. I'll give you a parting gift. And what is that? Hope. The hope that as long as you hold on to your certainty, your wish will definitely come true. Listen, the old you was the endless witch, Beatrice. You used to love detective novels and that depicted impossible crimes. And you used those to make the claim that a witch existed, to make many people believe in magic. As one stage on your path to becoming a witch. Detective novels? Yeah, the old you was an avid reader, a lover of detective novels and locked room murders, and a super expert on impossible crimes. After devouring book after book and reading through countless locked room tricks, you hit upon the ultimate single origin trick, and you used it to form the core of your system of magic. Butler told you, right? He told you that the old you would definitely have thought of a way out of this predicament. I'll acknowledge that. I guarantee it by the name of the Witch of Certainty, Lambda Delta. The old you would definitely have solved this locked room trick. That's my parting gift to you. Goodbye. You've sworn certainty to the Witch of Certainty, so I won't say farewell. Or I'll see you again soon. Yes, we will see you again soon. Lambda Delta vanished into thin air and left behind in the witch's tea room where the two were held the title of Endless Witch. One had empty eyes, the other supported the first by his side. Ironically, it was the exact opposite of how their relationship had been in the previous game. È vero, abbiamo notato subito come parallelismo. Sì, mancava poco alla fine del capitolo, me ne rendevo conto, però avevamo sforato abbastanza l'ultima volta dove dovevo andare. The Demon Wedding Ceremony. Ovviamente, prima o poi doveva arrivare a questo punto. Ah, Zeparu! What's this important announcement? Listen, Fufu. Our image song is getting released on CD. What? Just kidding. We were just so bored of showing up in the same way every time. We thought we'd change our style a bit. We're entertainers, and the stage is alive. We've got to ad-lib every now and then. Yeah, you could have done without that. We could have done without that, you jackasses. Thanks for helping remove the tension, you two. Sorry, but we're still talking about what to do in the second trial. We'd like a little more time, and if possible, some quiet. Oh, sorry, George-kun. Actually, we have a truly important announcement regarding the second trial. It's good news for some, and perhaps bad news to others. For whom it is bad news, those for whom it is bad news, we've probably... Mamma mia. Those for whom it is bad news have probably already figured it out. If you don't know what we're talking about, then it's good news for you. It's nothing. 5 people were there, only Butler was missing, and Beato's expression was dark, her head hanging low. Everyone realized that something must have happened to Butler. We'd like to announce that Butler-kun has retired before the second trial. Everyone murmured. Just what had happened? The witch's game will wait forever for him. But a pair of lovers cannot wait forever. Love is like an ice cream. It's sweet and creamy, but if you don't eat it quickly, you will lose it. Our game is so gracious that I'll wait for him to return. So that's what you mean by good news. Well, I'm glad that our rivals had gone down in number. If you thought I'd applaud another person's misfortune, you're totally wrong. Butler-kun was the one we fought as our greatest enemy. I won't ask why, but if the demons in charge say so, then that's how it is. Then what will happen to Beatrice-sama? Seems I will lose the right to take this trial. After all, this is a trial to test the bond between lovers. Butler-kun isn't currently capable of doing that, so his pair is disqualified. How truly saddening. However, she is one of the participants in the 3-way trial of blood. So I think we should let her watch the trial as an observer. A splendid idea. She does have the right to bless the pair that does overcome the trial. Are you okay with that? Yes. I want to watch until the end. And I still believe he will come back quickly, regain his eligibility, and continue this trial with me once again. If you ask me, she has the right to be an observer. No objections here. There's no need for us to be cruel. That may be, but as bad as it sounds, the loss of a powerful rival is our gain. Sorry to do this to you and Butler-kun, but I'd like to settle this trial right away. That's Judge-kun for you. I'm rooting for you the most on the inside. The coldness with which he furnishes that love makes his heat stand out all the more. At any rate, we have now gone from 3 down to 2, and the 3-way deadlock has been resolved. We weren't able to fight proactively because we were afraid of 1 against 2 situation. Now that it's 1 against 1, it's just a good, clean duel. So in the end, we find that we should have done this from the beginning. The 4 people stood up as though responding to some invisible summons and faced each other glaring. Only Beato was off to the side, watching the course of the young lovers' fight in suspense. Each pair of lovers had an unbreakably strong bond. Then, isn't that enough? Their love is already the real thing. There's no need to test it. But if so, then why must they fight? The victorious couple will be bound together by the magical miracle, and the defeated couple will fall apart. Why have demons promised us that we will fall apart without a magical miracle? Why is a demon game like this necessary? I don't understand. No, they aren't important right now. I have to think of an escape trick as soon as possible, so that I can save Butler-san from that locked room. Comunque effettivamente non sappiamo ancora perché. Oh! I've heard about Butler. It seems that things have gotten quite troublesome. I would like to save you, as you are both my dear sister and a part of my full self. I am tackling Butler's locked room in my own way, but it is difficult. It feels almost as though an ordinary chain has been made to look like a wire puzzle. I heard from Lambda Delta-san. She said that the old Beatrice could definitely solve this trick. Don't you have any idea? That old Beatrice is our completed form after we become one. Even I am not but a part of her. It stands to reason that I cannot solve it. By this, she meant that we wouldn't be able to figure it out no matter how much thought we put into it in our incomplete forms. She was saying that neither the elder nor the younger sister could ever be expected to solve this riddle. Beato shook her head, chasing that thought from her mind. I won't give up. I'll set right to work on that locked room. Unless I can save Butler-san as soon as possible, his heart will be crushed. Of course, I have no reservation about lending my own wisdom. However, even I cannot make anything out of this locked room. If we put our heads together, I'm sure we'll find the same answer that we would have if we were joined. Please lend me your wisdom and don't give up. I still cannot fathom why are you so willing to go so far for Butler. But I shall do as you ask. After all, it is a request made by myself. I will add my wisdom to yours. Look, Furfur, the two Beatos are thinking together. I wonder if those two can really save Butler. Oh, they can, if they have the miracle of love, that is. That's right, Zeppa. They can certainly do it if they have the miracle of love on their side. Say, Furfur, do you think they'll realize that we're giving them a hint for solving that locked room? The two Beatos put their heads together. Aspetta. The two Beatos put their heads together and, straining their minds with all they had, they searched for a plan to save Butler with. It was as though they couldn't even see the four people glaring at each other and solemnly discussing the manner of the duel. They realize, if they have love, they certainly will. They were the demons of love. Love is the single element, the source of all miracles. Could the miracle of love provide an answer for a locked room trick? There it is again. Without love, it cannot be seen. I understand how that catchphrase can describe a certain concept. But locked room tricks are pure, unfeeling mathematical puzzles without a fragment of affection within them. Just what kind of hint could these demons be talking about? I already have a certain answer. What these demons have said supports that even further. Yeah, okay, you're incredible. You always know the right answer, and you'll never let me hear any of it. Going by the rule of observers, until you tell me about it, it's possible that you're just lying and pretending that you know. Yes, I believe I do prefer a bad-mouthed Miko. You please me, child of man. To me, Miko's sarcasm and abuse is like a ceremonial dance in my honor. You're a real irritating master. Stupid Oni-chan. Why did you make a locked room like that yourself? Think, child of man. Thinking is not only a job for the characters within the tale. As a reader, you too have the right to enjoy thinking. And I enjoy watching as you do. I'm willing to make a bet. Your last Miko ran out of patience and ran away from you, didn't she? You are free to enjoy yourself by scolding me. You are also free to consider the problems like the two Beatos. Unless you think the tale will not continue. Why? I am a reader, right? Can't I just stay quiet and read? No. I want you to think. Not just the characters, you, the reader. Guarda Ryukishi che sta dicendo: pensaci, stronzo! Se non ci sei ancora arrivato, pensaci ora. I see. You're a pretty unpleasant author, aren't you? Ange was, of course, still only halfway through the tale. However, there were only a few pages left in the manuscript she was reading from. Where was the manuscript for the rest of the tale? It should continue much further than this. There should be many more pages remaining. Those were inside a different brown envelope, which was in Achiyo's hand. With a grin on her face, Achiyo waved the thick brown envelope about. If you want to read more, do what I tell you. Cool. Looks like she got you, Missy. Letting you read so far for free and then stopping when it finally gets to the good part. Amakusa couldn't stop laughing at this underhanded approach. I want to hear your own opinions, your own theories. If you tell me those now, I'll hand over the rest of the manuscript. Quit mocking me. You think I'll just do whatever you say after something like this? Come on now, Missy. Calm down. I want to read on too, so please just chill a bit. About the rest of the manuscript, Hachiyo. It contains the answer to the locked room trick and the truths behind a bunch of mysteries, right? Of course. However, I haven't written it in a way that will be understandable to those who fail to think or consider. One of these days you're going to get stabbed by an obsessive reader of yours who's very upset with you. I understand that, which is why I don't go out in the open, child of man. Anyway, this is what Hachiyo is trying to say. First, tell me your answer. After that, I'll let you check it. Correct, young man. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm asking because I want you to truly understand the tale's conclusion. Hamaksa, you're really enjoying this, aren't you? Yeah, come to think of it, you always take those TV quiz shows really seriously. It looks like you enjoy life much more than I do. So, what miraculous trick could get Butler out of that locked room? Please, give it some thought yourself. I want to give the rest of the story, especially to those, no, only to those who have thought. Oh. In the Witch's Cathedral, no, considering everything that's going on in here, maybe it should be called a demon's abode. Erika, who wanted to savor the memory of her perfect victory, stood with the whole vast cathedral to herself as the flush slowly left her cheek. Then, on the balcony that she thought was empty, a shadow came into view. It was Lambda Delta. Oh, it's you, Lady Lambda Delta. It's not often one finds you alone in a place like this. Oh, you. Congratulations on your big victory. That's so funny. I think I remember saying the same thing to you right here at the end of the last game. She was probably trying to be sarcastic. However, Erika was such in a good mood that even those words sounded like a compliment. I happened to hear what you have said a short while back. What? I heard that you have also had the experience of being toyed with as a piece on some great witch's game board, then sealed away in some awful hell. Erika had an unpleasant, triumphant look on her face, as though she had managed to pry into some embarrassing memory of another's past. However, Lambda Delta didn't look in the least bit flustered, and instead looked down from the balcony in silence. Yep. I wonder how many years I was shut up in there. Maybe I should have been like Bern and counted them. No, it's probably best that I didn't. Counting in years is what broke her. Are you saying that my master also fell in the hell of a logic error at some point? Yeah, she did. Though she wasn't the one responsible for that logic error. Because she wasn't the game master? That's right. At that time, she was still a small piece that wasn't even self-aware yet. It was her master, the game master, who committed the logic error. My master was also a witch's piece? Yep. That kid's master. Oh, yes, she was a bad one. Though she created the game herself, partway through she lost sight of what her goal was. She created something like a broken game of backgammon, where the start and the goal were connected like a donut. What do you mean she lost her goal? I'm talking about a logic error. She couldn't describe how to reach her desired goal. Couldn't draw up the logic to her backgammon game. So the game remained broken with no goal at all. She should have settled down and thought of an answer herself. But instead she despicably left even the thinking entirely to her piece, Verne. Have you heard of the infinite monkey theorem? It's the theory that if a monkey hits random letters on a typewriter for an infinite amount of time, at some point, the string of letters might end up exactly the same as Hamlet by sheer coincidence. I'd rather call it an absurdity than a theorem. Wouldn't that be a horrible hell? Verne was forced to type randomly on that typewriter for an eternal period of time without even knowing the meaning of what she was doing. The goal eluded even the game master herself. So she tried to get Verne to create it for her. Could Erika even imagine how horrible a hell that have been? A job that you have to do 100 times and a job that you have to keep repeating until it succeeds with a 1 in a 100 probability. May look very similar probabilistically, but the difference in cruelty between them is great. When you have to do a job 100 times, you steadily approach the end, get more efficient as you become used to it, and eventually you can finish. However, when you have to do a job that succeeds with a 1 in 100 probability, the hard work of the individual doesn't translate to even a slight gain in efficiency. Everything is left to luck. If luck isn't on your side, even the task of flipping a coin until you get heads can last more than 100 years. How many keys are there on a typewriter? About 100 maybe? What do you think the odds of hitting those at random and getting Hamlet? I can't even imagine. They may be truly astronomical. That's right. A virtually infinite amount of time. For that mind-bending stretch of time, that child was made to keep pounding on that typewriter until she typed out a miracle. That's why she's the Witch of Miracles? If she wasn't a witch, no, if she hadn't been able to become a witch, she would probably still be a black cat strapped to that typewriter for eternity. A child was blessed by a miracle, succeeded in typing out a miracle, became a witch and returned from that hell alive. That hell was so long and harsh that her mind and heart were completely broken. That's why she became such a mean and heartless witch. Given the choice, even you wouldn't have chosen a master like her, right? That's not true. I am honored to be my master's piece. My master is strong and an oppressor of others. Trampling over the weak is her natural right. You mean she's human on the bully sides of life? You know how to create the greatest bully ever? No? It's easy. For just a short time, bully them horribly, then suddenly stop and give them power instead. If you do that, then no matter who it is, they will be reborn as a grade A bully. And what's even more incredible is, even if that person was only bullied for about 3 days, they'll reign as a grade A bully for 1 billion times longer than that, believing themselves the victim all the while. And what does that have to do with my master? You don't understand anything about Bern. No matter what kind of ruthless, cruel, horrible, puke-spittle Bern might be, I want to be the one person who knows what she's truly like. And it is the same for me. I think that that kid, as a fellow survivor from hell, is the only one who can understand what I'm truly like. It sounds like you're jealous of the relationship we have, but give it up. The hell you think you've trudged through is nothing more than a blink compared to the one we crawled out of. Lambda Delta was probably mocking Erika's back, and the discouraged expression on Erika's face clearly showed that she couldn't accept Lambda Delta's words. If you'll pardon me for saying, I think in the depths of the hell that's important. It's the depths of the hell that's important, not the length of time spent there. You're not afraid to talk back, are you? Witch of Truth, Erika. I don't know what kind of hell you were in, Lady Lambda Delta. And I'm sure that the time I spent in hell was nothing more than a flash compared to yours. However, I don't think the depths of my hell were any shallower than yours. Oh. In celebration of your victory, I'll hear you out without arguing back. From my point of view, both the hell my master fell into, which could only be escaped by a miracle, and the hell you fell into, which presumably could only be escaped with certain willpower, were hell made to be escapable. Really? That's a bold thing to say. I am the Witch of Truth. In the depths of my hell, there was nothing more or less than the truth. When faced with the harsh reality of truth, no sort of willpower of miracle matters. I reached this place by overcoming that truth. I don't believe my power to withstand the truth is any way inferior to yours. Or my master. And what is this power to withstand the truth? Those who don't know cannot understand. Perhaps your inability to look that in the face is the reason you too couldn't become Witch of Truths. La faccia. I'll forgive you for those impotent words. Letting them pass with a slight nod is my present to you for your recent victory. Thank you very much. Grady, Lady Lambda Delta. Grady? Ho detto Grady? Great Lady. Grady. Greedy. Vabbè. Oh, that's unusual. It's rare to spot you two getting along. At some point, Berncastle had appeared on the opposite balcony of the cathedral. Erika noticed her, cried, "Oh, Agaraji!" happily and dashed over. Lady Lambda Delta was telling me old stories about you. A tale of miracles fitting for my master, the Witch of Miracles. I'll forgive you just this once. Huh? Never speak of my past again. A grimace rose to her face, blasting Erika's good mood away. So, Erika understood. Berncastle was also a witch running from boredom, because if he ever caught up with her, she would remember those never-ending days of hell. This is proof that even my master still hadn't gotten over the pain and fear of hell. It means that she lacks the power to withstand the truth. For the first time, Erika felt just a little disdain for her master. My apologies. More importantly, what brings you to a place like this? I was looking for you. I wanted to give you a reward. A reward? Really? Oh, thank you so very much, my master. Oh, I'm jealous. What are you gonna give her? First, I acknowledge your ascension as a true witch, not just a temporary one. I'll be your guardian, witch of truth, Erika. Oh, thank you very much. All you did was remove the temporary bit. That sort of reward can be very pleasing. She really deserves something better, don't you think? No, that's not true. I am very pleased. Of course, on the inside, Erika did want another present. Taking a cue from Lambda Delta, she waited patiently to see if there would be any other rewards. I do have another one. Ben Castle snapped her fingers. Cos'è, Butler? Eh sì. As she did, a cloud of gold butterflies gathered and summoned Butler sitting on a throne at the center of the cathedral. Of course, his eyes were blank. He was still an invalid, his heart trapped in the locked room that he would never be allowed to escape from. That man is your reward. My reward is Butler? Oh, I see. She's saying she'll make it so that you inherit all of this game's board territory. That's right. Look at Butler's finger. He's wearing the ring of the one-winged eagle, symbol of the territory lord. If that becomes yours, you'll be the official lord of his territory. Of this territory. I don't mean you'll be under my charge. In name and reality, this territory will be yours. So I need to take that ring off of Butler's finger? Oh, don't be silly. There's only one ceremony where a woman gets a ring from a man's finger, right? Erika, take Butler as your husband and become the wife of the territory lord. Mary Butler? Yes, that's right. If the territory lord is never to wake again, you'll need a partner to serve by his side and act as his proxy. In other words, you will control this territory. And we'll hold a wedding where you'll exchange rings. Butler's territory lord ring will become yours. And in exchange, you will put a ring of servitude on Butler's finger. For eternity, you will rule him, debase him, and use this territory and game board to wave whatever tale your heart desires. Further, Erika, you will be the territory lord. Any tale you wish will come true. The territory lord is a god. Congrats, you'll be the god of this small but wonderful world. Is that true? Waga Archie? Will I become this world's god? That is the final reward I will give you. Take Butler's ring and create your own world. When that happens, you won't be my piece anymore. You'll be your own witch, and a splendid one at that. Congratulations, Lady Erika. And one day, you must welcome me when I come to visit, just like Beato once did. Yes, my master, there could be no greater honor. And I'm starting to like this marriage with Butler thing. If you think about it, there could be no greater disgrace to this game. After all, that Beatrice was apparently born out of the desire to serve Butler and be liked by him. In the world that witch created, I will marry, defile, and humiliate Butler. Oh yes, I understand. I so understand how painful it feels to have the one you love stolen away from you. And now, I'm finally the one dealing out the pain. Truly, there could be no greater honor. I'm glad you like it. I knew it was the one present you'd like most in the world. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Saltata giù dal balcone, sì. Erika leapt down from the balcony and walked briskly towards Butler. Then she peered down as the reward she had been given. Butler uomo trofeo. Now isn't that a wonderful tale? You'll hold a wedding ceremony? Of course. A magnificent one. It's the perfect way to end Beato's game. Of course. We'll send Beato an invitation too, right? I only hope she actually comes. Alright, things are going to get busy. We have to prepare for the ceremony, make programs, send invitations. Don't forget the wedding cake, dress and cake. And you need to get things ready for the reception. The two witches disappeared, cackling. Only the two who were to be wed remained in the cathedral. Could you hear, Mattel-san? Do you realize what's about to happen to you? Butler's consciousness wasn't completely gone. It was very distant, but he was slightly tethered to reality. And that was what made it cruel. It was as cruel as though the spider called Erika had wrapped Butler up and was eating him alive while he was still conscious. The fact she might have been more like certain kind of wasp, paralyzing her prey and keeping it alive so that she could eat it later. In short, her cruelty was very similar to that of a predator. You won't be able to get out of that locked room. After all, you used all that red truth to show that it was a locked room. So stop worrying and just let yourself be trapped in there forever. While you're spending time in there, I'll take my time defiling your body. I'll have our bedroom lined with mirrors. That way, you can see just how you're being humiliated with your own eyes. Kinky. Kinky. And then, let's have a bird cage hanging from the ceiling. We can stick your beloved witch Beatrice in there. What do you think? Wonderful, isn't it? Ah, I can feel it. This is how sweet it is to be standing on the other side. As he listened to this mad laugh, Butler couldn't even bring a distressed expression to his face. His heart was still trapped in the locked room he had created, and his body and soul would soon be trapped within a new locked room of Erika's. A locked room called marriage. Presa un po' fuori dal contesto fa ridere. Sposarsi è una Umineko reference. Hey, did you hear, Furfur? Yes, I sure did, Zephyr. Lord Butler and Lady Erika are having a wedding. They said it with so much of their usual frivolity that Beato had asked them to repeat again. What's happening? As you know, the lord of this territory had his heart sealed away and cannot speak. So, the beautiful Lady Erika is going to become his wife and support him in his work. The two demons explain the situation in a very simple yet dramatic way. I know what's going on. They're planning to take advantage of the fact that Butler's heart is sealed away and use marriage to lock his body up as well, so that they can steal everything from him. At this rate, Butler will have his position as a game master and his territory lord's ring stolen away. That damn homewrecker. She thinks she can do whatever she wants. Let's deal him back. He may be of little importance to me, but he may be of little importance to me, but matters that affect you are my business also. It's no use to just steal his body back. After all, the great Lady Bancastel has already signed a marriage certificate as a witness. With the great witch of the Senate serving as a witness, no one can dispel the union except those who are part of it. Then it is as I thought. Unless I can rescue Butler's son's heart from that locked room, there's no way we can save him. Then find a way to rescue him from that locked room. You're going to steal away the bridegroom? Oh, wonderful! If you can do that, it would make a tale beautiful enough for the opera. However, this locked room sealing Butler is quite difficult. The only way out is the door, and if the chain is unset, his escape won't be accepted. And on top of that, the chain can't be set from the outside. And now there's no one left to switch places with him. No matter how you think about it, we're stuck. If we give up, we won't be able to save him. The only thing we can do to save him now is to keep at it and keep thinking. Though Beato looked as though she was about to burst into tears, she clenched her fist tightly. She was so frustrated with her inability to think up a brilliant plan that her heart felt as though it would burst. Zephyr and Furfur, you two are known as being among the most powerful of demons. They say your magic can make the impossible possible. Could you not use your power and knowledge to work out a plan for crushing this impossible locked room? Yes, love can accomplish any impossible thing. If you can't accomplish something, it means you lack enough love. Even that hurts. But we are moved by the strength of will that prevents you from giving up. Because we have that, because you have that, we are sure you can bring about a miracle. Can you at least give us a hint about that miracle? We have known each other for no short span of time. Will you not at least give my little sister a hint as a parting gift? A hint? We are always giving out hints. Without love, they cannot be seen. If we could see them, I would have not asked. These two are always like this. It staves off boredom, but they can become very irritating at times like this. Zephyr and Furfur certainly were demons who possessed a great power. The power of love that they bestowed that created several miracles in the past. Miracles so great that they left a mark on human history. However, those miracles were never given easily. They would give trials, tell riddles, and sometimes help the truth be realized, so that those who desire power could create that power themselves. No matter how pitiful the eyes that looked up at them, the two demons would never lend their power out of pity. And it is with God, as it is with God, it is with demons. They help those who help themselves. I understand. I'll think about it myself. I swear, I will free him. Look upon her demons. Why, when last did you see a girl so pure of heart? As the demons of love, don't your hearts ache even a little? Come, let's have a hint. Surely, you could give us a hint to a hint at least. Zephyr and Furfur looked at each other. Of course, there was no pity on their faces. However, it could be seen that though they did find the problem amusing, they were considering what they should do next. What will we do, Furfur? Maybe a hint to a hint will be okay? Yes, even that will be welcome. Well, let's have it. Okay, here's a present from Zephyr and Furfur. A hint to a hint of love. Please. You cannot see the answer? Because you don't have enough love. I told you, not a hint like that. And if you don't have enough love? Why not observe couples who have it in abundance? Yes, and as luck would have it, we have two loving couples right here. Why not stay a while and be a spectator to their fight of love? You should watch our trial from the position of an outside observer. Will you listen? Not a hint like that, I said. Beato the Elder yelled at them, asking for a more tangible hint. However, Zephyr and Furfur just giggled and ran about like rats. Beato, on the other hand, took their hint to a hint seriously. Now that she was out of the running, the second trial between George and Shannon and Jessica and Kanon tear apart the two who are close. In other words, defeat one of the members of the opposing team. They were allowed to use any method they wanted. It could be a duel or it could be rock, paper, scissors. After alternating many times between speaking as a group and discussing things as couples, finally the four of them seemed to have reached a decision. Zephyr, Furfur, do you have a second? Oh, they finally called out to us. What is it, George? Have you decided to form the format of the duel? No matter how much the two demons baited them with their facetious tone, the couple's serious expression did not waver. Yes, we've decided to have it as a single duel. It will be a duel between Shannon and me. That's surprising. For a one-on-one duel, We would have thought. And George and Jessica would have fought. These guys really wanted to beat them, and they wouldn't listen. As a man, I find it frustrating that all I can do is watch. However, Shannon's resolve is firm. So we have no choice but to respect their decision and believe in them. Kanon-kun. Thank you so much for believing in me. I already thought that if the day ever come where we had to fight each other directly, then we shouldn't shy away from it. And we realized that that day is today. Of course, we might have been able to avoid this day. However, now this day has come, so we will not run away from it. That's right. I'll stay right here too. Me too. I believe in Shannon. So I won't say anything more. And even if Shannon is the one fighting in the duel, our power is one. So we'll be fighting together. Yes, that's right. I'm just speaking for the pair of us. If it is a decision made by those in love, even demons will not object. So, how would you like to settle this duel? You don't mean that you will have a real duel, do you? At once, both Shannon and Kanon nodded. And the method? That doesn't matter, as long as it is a fight to the death. If possible, we would like it to be peaceful and painless. And we would like to avoid wounding each other necessarily before one of us dies. Zephyr? We shouldn't be the ones to oversee. We should be the one. Zephyr, we should be the ones to oversee this noble duel. True. Very well, you two. We propose a noble duel, one that will honor your noble spirits. When Zephyr clapped loudly, a case with an old design appeared in the air and landed between Shannon and Kanon. Furfur nodded at them, urging them to open it. Kanon crouched down and opened the case. There were a pair of antiques inside. They would have looked splendidly hanging on the wall at some classy coffee shop. However, they were not mere decorations now. These are... I see. Just perfect for a duel. Inside the case was a pair of old-fashioned dueling pistols, like the ones used many centuries ago. Yes, this was a dueling pistol case, which one only permitted to be opened by those who wished for a fight to the death. Which was only permitted. They have one bullet each. In accordance to your request, we have imbued the bullets with magic. No matter where on the body they hit you, these magic bullets will bring certain and painless death. Thank you very much. You are most merciful. And what if we both miss? Normally, that would be a draw. However, such a thing is not allowed in our trial. If you both miss, you will come back and we will give you new bullets. This will repeat until one of you is dead. I have no objections. Me neither. I'm glad. This means we can finally settle this. Ushiromi George, I recognize you as the witness for Shannon. Nay, Sayo.
了解だ。
Understood.
後ろ宮
Ushiromi Jessica, I recognize you as the witness for Kanon.
いいえ
Nay,
よし
よしや
立ち会い人と認めるわ
sure.
僕たちは決闘
We are responsible for this
この
duel.
決闘を
It is our responsibility to see that this duel reaches a decision, no matter what. When Zephyr and Furfur cried those words out, the whole area was blanketed in a gold-colored light, and when it cleared, it had become the rose garden where golden roses bloomed.
恋をめぐっての決闘
Duel over love, is it?
興奮なやつ
How old-fashioned they
わ
are.
らわも
I have seen many duels with pistols during my 1,000 years, but I have never seen one like this.
悪魔が立ち会い人を
Because
する
it's
から
being overseen by demons?
違う
No.
普通
A duel over love is usually a fight between two people both in love with the same single person.
しかし
However, we have a pair of lovers fighting another pair of lovers.
これはとても
This is
珍
quite
妙
odd.
だそれはきっと
I'm sure that's because they want the miracle of magic.
私たちは
It seems we cannot succeed in love without that miracle.
宇宙を作るために
Do you know the minimum number of people needed to create a universe? Huh?
いえ
No, I don't. Shannon and Kanon each took a pistol out of the case, returned to their respective witnesses, and checked the weapons over. Then, after they had both determined that there were no problems, the two were asked one final time whether they were prepared to duel, and both of them nodded.
問題がなければ
If there are no problems, the duelists shall stand back to back,
決められた歩数
then
を
walk a
歩いて
predetermined number of steps away from each other.
それから
Then,
合図
the duel will begin on our signal.
ゼペル
Zephyr,
その歩数
how
は
many steps should I
何
walk?
歩がいいかしら
そうだね
Good question. Well, maybe we should choose a number that is closely bound to this duel.
因縁となる
A
数字
number closely
それ
bound?
はいくつなの
What number is that?
僕たちがよく
It's a number we know of well. We know of well.
そして
It is the number which has been repeated over and over since the time this tale began.
それは19
That number is 19.
面白い数字です
That is an interesting number.
気に入ったよ。
I like
す
it.
べてと決別するの。
It is a good number to settle everything with. 19. It was the number used to refer to the witch each time the illusion of a 90th person had been seen on this supposedly 18-person island. It was the length of time he had taken to create this tale. It was the length of time leading up to this inevitable day. And it was the age of the true territory lord of this world. Un attimo. Un attimo. Composto, composto. They'll stand across from each other, then walk 19 steps and shoot.
かなりの距離になる
That's pretty far.
早打ちが有利とは
At that distance, the first one to shoot won't necessarily be the winner. If one of us shoots first and misses, that will probably be the end for them.
それを当てれば
And if it hits this game, scusate un attimo. And if it hits, this easy game can be won without even getting a scratch. Well then, duelers, stand with your backs together. Shannon and Kanon slowly walk towards each other, facing each other. Once they turn away, the next time they would see each other's face would be the time that they killed them. So, this was the last time they would face each other. Thanks for everything. Having a little brother like you made things fun.
僕に話せてくれてありがとう
Thank you for letting me be me.
灰色の世界
Thank you for showing me the color in the world of grey.
どうして私たちは生まれたんだろうね
Why were we born, I wonder?
生まれた時すぐに死ねればよかった
It would have been better if we have died at birth.
それはお父さんの
That
罪
is
だ
our
ね
father's sin, isn't it?
そうさ
Yeah,
だからあいつも死ね
so he can just
み
die.
んな死ね
Let them all die.
うん
Yeah,
みんな死ぬよ
everyone will die.
もうすぐね
And it will happen very soon.
そしてすぐにみん
And
な
right
蘇って
after,
会えるよ
everyone will revive and we'll be able to see them again.
もう私たちは
We won't be birds in a
カゴの
cage
中のボ
anymore.
トルじゃない
僕たちはようやくカゴを出て
We will finally leave our cage and fly off to our separate worlds.
君ともっと早くこうして
I should have had this duel
どう
with
す
you
ればよかったね
long ago.
それがきっ
Surely,
と今日なのさ
today is the day. Yeah,
今日だね
it is today.
1986
On October 5th, 1986,
運命の日
fated day,
私たちの
the
ど
day
ちらか
the one of us will die.
あるいは
Or maybe we'll both shoot at the same time
二人とも死ぬ
and
よ
both die. Oh, that
それもあ
might
りか
happen too.
それでも全然
In
ありだ
fact,
ね
that's not unlikely at all.
そうさそ
Right.
れであっても
And even if that happens, our love will surely be made
成就
complete.
されるんだから
決闘の必要
Do we really need a duel?
あったさ
We do.
姉さんも言ってるよ
You say it yourself. You said it
僕た
yourself.
ちはいずれにせよ
We should have done this
もっ
much
と
sooner.
早くに決闘するべきだった
そうだね
Right.
私にとって
Because to me, you are.
僕にとって
To me,
姉さん
you
は
are.
もう邪魔なのだから
Just in a way. For the first time, they intend to kill flesh through the eyes of both. Why? For what reason? Why must this day come for this pair, who are connected by a bond different from romantic love, as though they were real siblings? It is a great mystery. And also a great mystery is the question of how this can be the key towards unlocking Butler's unlocked room. If I watch over this duel instead of running away, will I find the key towards solving that locked room? I will, right? Seppa-san, Furfur-san. allora un attimo. E andiamo con Birth of a New Witch, si chiama tra l'altro sta canzone. The cathedral was beautifully decorated to be the place of the wedding between the territory lord, Lord Butler, and his wife-to-be, Lady Erika. A crowd of guests wearing goat masks will fill the cathedral, waiting for the arrival of the bride and groom. Fitting for a demon's wedding, it was not solemn or quiet, but cheery and noisy, brimming with activity. I wonder what Beato is doing. She has gone to see Zephyr and Fulfur. With the power of love, that powerful pair can even force the Demon King to retreat. They are bound to be of some use, at least I would like to think so. I know all about those two. I think you know as well as I that they won't hand over their power easily. True. However, that is why they are capable of granting a miraculous power. At any rate, if we can just free Butler's heart from that locked room, we should be able to manage something here. Locked rooms are your favorite, aren't they, Gap? Can't you think of any tricks? This is a nasty one. Butler and Erika locked it up tight with all kinds of right truths. I can say for certain that a solo escape from the inside is impossible. So, after all, the only way is to have someone else trade places with him and set the chain. And if that someone does appear, it should be easy to save Butler. There are 11 people, right? Those 11 are sealed on the second floor of the guest house. If we could somehow slip them out of there. I see. Solving the problem of Butler-sama's locked room is equivalent to solving the problem of either locked room on the guest house second floor. Exactly. Limiting your thoughts to just Butler's guest room is like being trapped in a mental locked room. The locked room we need to break open to save Butler isn't the guest room. It's the locked rooms in the guest house. Oh, che cute, Lanor con gli occhiali. Most unfortunately, we of Eisern Jungfrau have been placed in charge of those two rooms. And you guys specialize in seals and barriers. I must admit, I am impressed, Miss Gap. It is quite an achievement to realize that the locked room you should destroy to save Butler is within the guest house. The ceremony will probably begin soon, but shall we reconstruct the scene as a way to kill time until then? You sure? Doesn't this violate the obligation of confidentiality you have as Lady Erika's piece? No, that is no problem. I am sure that if you first confirm the seals around the scene and fall into despair, we will be able to celebrate this ceremony more sincerely. How confident. I'll take that challenge. Liam, let's have ourselves a little snack before the ceremony. And we're done, dear ladies of Eisern. We humbly ask you to reconstruct the scene for us. For your attention, we hear and obey. This is the cousin's room. The next room over has the exact same layout. Please investigate as thoroughly as you like. This room has Genji, Goda, Kanon, plus Kraus, Rudolph and Jessica, for a total of 6 people. The next room over has Hideyoshi, George, Shannon, Kumasawa and Nanjo, for a total of 5 people. Come on, everyone, don't be stupid. It doesn't matter who's here. We need to find how to escape from this room. You're right. The door and windows are sealed and we must somehow escape from some other place. You know what? I know all about you having people specializing in pressing ahead to hide inconvenient facts. It's not a locked room. It is not a locked room, is it? This room. For your attention, I beg to inform you of the following. The locked rooms in our charge are perfect. You were in charge of the window sill of Kinzo's room last game, right? Just how Butler did Butler get Kinzo out of that room again? Cornelia was not at fault. The blame rests on me as her superior. This is exactly the same as Kinzo's study. It's the windows. This locked room can be broken by the windows. It's clear as day how you people operate. How? Lady Erika sealed the entire room, right? That means the entire room is sealed, including the windows. I see. It would seem that we have been misinterpreting the definition of those seals. A locked room sealed by duct tape is not impossible to break out of. It forms no prison. That's it, exactly. Yes, a seal proves that the room is a locked room, but it doesn't guarantee that the room will remain sealed. All it does is prove that the room is a locked room as long as the duct tape isn't broken. We are not trying to deceive you in any way. As long as the duct tape is intact, it is guaranteed to be a locked room. That is all. Then why the windows? Why is it that we can break the locked rooms by the windows? It's simple. We just tear the duct tape apart and jump out. I don't know what the outside wall of the guest house is like, but that girl crawled up it and stuck duct tape on the outside without anyone noticing, so it must have at least enough foothold for that. If you break the duct tape, we will immediately know that the seal has been broken. And we have repeatedly proven that the seals were intact at the time of Butler's logic error. True. It is true that at that time you proved that the seals weren't broken. That is how you tricked us into thinking that it was a locked room. A seal doesn't necessarily imply a locked room. Gap was the demon who specialized in putting an end to locked room mysteries, so she drew herself up and looked down on the short Dlanor as though a challenge such as this was like taking candy from a baby. Dlanor looked up at her with a bold expression, and sparks flew between them. A seal doesn't imply a locked room? That can't be. Remember, Leah, which seals did Erika and the others show us at that time? Which seals did they show were still intact? I see. This is the sort of falsification that the Great Court of Heaven likes to practice. I cannot let that remark pass. What is your complaint? Come on, I've been saying it the whole time. It's the windows. It's true that you sealed everything with those seals. That includes the windows at that time. And you've proven at that time that they were sealed. So far so good. But you know what? After that, any one of the people inside could have done it. Who was here again? Genji, Goda, Kanon, Kraus, Rudolph, Jessica. Any one of them could do it. All they had to do was tear the duct tape on the window, slip out from here, and then save Butler. But at the time of the logic error, it was proven that the seals were intact. Incorrect. At that time, Lady Erika only proved the status of the seals on the doors. Che faccia? Come to think of it, at that time Lady Erika just showed the doors of the two rooms and claimed that the seals were intact for each. She never mentioned the seals on the windows. That's correct. It's probably true that the seals on the doors and windows were perfect at first. However, at the time of the logic error, only the status of the seals on the doors was confirmed. In other words, since the time Erika left the guest house, it was not forbidden for them to break through the window and leave whenever they wished. Well, I've got you now, haven't I? This is how you people do things. Supervisor Dranor, it's nearly time. It seems the bride and groom have arrived. This ends our chat. We will meet again later. With an amused grin on her face, Dranor turned around, but that had to have hit her where it hurt. Gap had no intention on letting her get away. She grabbed Lan's shoulder. Wait here. Confirm whether or not the seals on the windows were preserved at the time of the logic error. If you don't, it's possible for anyone in that room to save Butler. And who do you think such a rescue would be possible for? It doesn't matter who. Then, just by personal preference, I'll name Kanon-kun. He seems agile, and hiding his presence is his specialty. He's the perfect person to follow after Erika and quickly change places with Butler-kun. Kanon, you say? That is impossible. Impossible? Come on, we can't trust you with what you say with normal words. Use the red truth. Swear upon that red longsword of yours. Miss Gap, a sacred ceremony is about to begin here. You asked me to draw my sword in a sacred place such as this. I believe that would be inelegant and rude in the extreme. Let us do this some other time, if you would excuse me. It is possible for Kanon to save Butler. After Erika sealed the room, he left by the window, switched places with Butler-kun in the guest room, set the chain lock, and hid in the closet. That is impossible. The seals on the windows were also intact. Of course, this is at the time of the logic error. Gap's blue wedge and rapid reverse roundhouse crossed with Lanor's red longsword and both pointed at each other's throat. The once peaceful mood of the wedding broke apart. Several goat guests whispered to each other, wondering why those seemed to be fighting. Okay, so you can counter that. Why didn't you say so in the first place? We thought that Beatrice might eventually reach that thought, then barging on the wedding with that as the key to save Butler's escape, and did not think that you would press us first and force us to show our hand. You do fight dirty, don't you? You were trying to lay a trap for Beato, making her suspect the windows, drawing her out and then turning the tables on her. What else should a human who guards the bride to be expected to do? Are you satisfied now? A hellish wedding truly is vulgar and barbaric. Excuse me. Hold it right there. You haven't fooled me yet. You were talking about seals blocking Kanon, the one on the windows on the cousin's room, right? Then what about the windows on the next room over? You could have... all you've done is showed that the rescue would have been impossible for Kanon. There's still a chance for the humans in the next room over. How very persistent. We apologize for our rudeness. We are the Sister Sisters Imperial Guard in charge of the security of this ceremony. I'm afraid I must ask you both to for your stamped invitations. Nox. I am a witch at I'm a witch. I am with the bride's party. Here's my stamped invitation. Also, here are my credentials as bodyguard to the bride. Conferred as Chief Nox. Welcome to Lord Butler's wedding. I'm Gap. I'm with the groom's party. Here's my invitation and... Oh no. You didn't get this stamped at the reception desk, yeah? I came here directly, so I didn't go by the reception desk. Haven't got a stamp yet. Why do you always have to mess up things at a time like this? Gap-sama? My apologies, but we'll have to ask you to come with us to a different room. Dlanor watched, shrugged and turned away. Wait here, Dlanor. Respond to my Bluetooth. If you want the opinion of the Great Court of Heaven, please fill out an application in accordance with court procedure. For your attention, know that the ticket window is open from 10 AM to 5 PM on weekdays. Lunch break is from 12 to 1:15. For your attention, be advised to use the use of whiteout and strike-through is not permitted when filling out forms. There's a room under a certain event I won't name refuses applications for the same thing. It's an urban legend, probably. I will provisionally accept the Bluetooth verbally. It will be put on hold until the proper forms are received and multiple submissions are not allowed. I do not understand. Can you respond to my Bluetooth or can't you? If you fill out the applications on Monday, we should be able to have an answer for you by the end of the next month. Multiple submissions are forbidden, so the Bluetooth you just spoke will be unusable during this wedding ceremony. This is in accordance with the official Great Regulations, Article 214-15, Prohibition of Multiple Submissions. For your attention, I beg to inform you of the following. Know that it is forbidden for Bluetooth to be based on the argument that the window seals on the next room over are torn at the time of the logic error. For your attention, I beg to inform you of the following. Be advised that there can be no obligation to provide an answer to said Bluetooth. Cowards! Hey, let go of me, rabbit band! The sister led Gap away. Just when she had thought that she'd reached the core, they had underhandedly refused to respond. However, this was a big clue. There was a chance that the window seals on the next room over had been broken. In other words, it might be possible for Hideyoshi, George, Kumasawa, Shannon or Nanjo to have saved Butler. And yet, just now, that option might have been sealed away. The use of any Bluetooth based on the window seals on the next room over might have been broken, had been prevented. It was now impossible to claim that the 5 who could have saved Butler were the ones who did it. Ok, sì, scusami, volevo arrivare ad un punto buono dove fermarmi. Non c'è bisogno di rompere il siero per uscire dalla finestra, basta rompere il vetro, qualcuno così ha aiutato Butler. No, le finestre sono intatte. Di entrambi. È una buona idea, però le finestre sono intatte. Approfitto anche per bere. No, non rompere il muro, no, non possono. Si può uscire solo dalla porta o dalla finestra. Dalla porta sappiamo che non sono usciti, ma qua è abbastanza, cioè, di solito, come faceva Beatrice, come facevano gli altri, quando non vogliono rispondere a qualcosa in rosso, è un po' un'indizione, ecco. What the hell? That's low. Isn't that the answer? I also noticed that they hadn't proven that the window seals were intact. But if that can be used for the blue truth, what are they supposed to do? I know. You're gloating again because you alone have discovered the truth. My apologies, child of man. I am stuck on this just like you are. What are you saying? I also realized that the windows on the next room over were left available. However, I never imagined that the use of that argument would be prevented. Doesn't this completely violate the rules? I mean, how can a quiz be fair if you can't say the right answer? Isn't this a logic error from the other side, for the other side? We can also view the fact that this tale is continuing as proof that it wasn't a logic error. In other words, there's some other answer completely unrelated to the windows of the next room over. Or it may be possible to explain without discussing the windows how one of the five in the next room over could have come to Butler's rescue. Not discussing the windows means getting out of the room without using the windows. That would make the next room over a locked room again. Yes, that is why I'm also stuck. Because of these strange seal proclamations, the two rooms have once again become locked rooms. Most likely? Most likely what? If you're so vastly intelligent, what kind of answer have you found? There is no answer. No answer? What do you mean no answer? There is no way except for the windows of the next room over. And yet, we are not allowed to include those windows in our reasoning. There probably is no answer for this locked room. Then what happens next? Since no answer exists, the fate is absolutely certain for whichever player is burdened with the responsibility of explaining. But then, they are out of moves to play. In other words, the statement of the landlord was, in a way, the final blow. It means it's checkmate. No, one move does exist. However, that move is one that can never be used again. And it's also a part of Beato's heart. You mean one of the greatest mysteries of this tale? Precisely. If he uses that, there may be a chance. Featherin sighed deeply. It was something she hadn't done at all before now. I see. So it's finally time for the curtain to close on this long, long tale. Revealing that mystery means finally killing Beato. Butler is probably the only one qualified to do that. If he waves that tale as the game master, no one will be able to stop it now. Very soon, the greatest mystery of this tale is likely to be revealed. A deep sound reverberated throughout the cathedral. It was the sound of dozens of heels being stamped in unison, originating from the honor guards, members of the Sister Sisters Imperial Guard who were lining the cathedral. It brought about total silence even before the demons running the ceremony. The ceremony spoke. Let us have silence. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the wedding of Lord Butler, Territory Lord and Golden Sorcerer, and Lady Erika, the Witch of Truth. Zephyr and Furfur had appeared in the center of the cathedral. It was a great status symbol to have these two demons invited to host the wedding. They thought they had asked for silence, the attendances would pack... Aspetta. No, non ci sono, allora rispondo. No, non sono aumentate 19. No, non ci sono passaggi segreti. Though they had asked for silence, the attendees who packed the cathedral welcomed the two demons with an enormous applause. Zephyr and Furfur? What about Beato? She may already have snuck in. They searched for Beato in the crowd of several hundred people, but they couldn't find her anywhere. I wonder if Beato found a way to save Butler-kun. If she managed to gain Zephyr and Furfur's power, I'm sure she has. There is no miracle that cannot be gained after receiving their power. And if she didn't, then that goat biting its handkerchief over there is probably her. And now let us welcome the bride and groom. Please give them a grand welcome to celebrate this new chapter in their lives. Oops. Come out, bride and groom, walk the path of the shackles called marriage, which will bind you until the grave. The big door in the back of the cathedral slowly opened. And then the Territory Lord and his beautiful bride came into view. Arm in arm, the pair slowly began to walk down the path to the grave, lined with a red carpet. The Sister Honor Guard stood at attention alongside of the path, along either side of that path, raised their adorned bayonets with mechanical precision, and made sure that no evil could block the path that the pair walked on. Sister troops that weren't part of the Honor Guard were stationed all over the cathedral, hiding behind pillars and so on, and keeping an eye out for any intruders. 00, calling 45 and 410. Any irregularities? Ceiling snipers! No irregularities! 410 and 45 could be seen on top of the massive chandelier hanging from the cathedral ceiling. Several other sniper pairs could be seen stationed on top of the other chandeliers. This seemingly festive cathedral was actually being heavily guarded in places that the attendees wouldn't notice. Currently, we are targeting 36 attendees suspected of being Lady Beatrice, as well as 131 who are located in positions suitable for a surprise attack. Surveillance is in progress. Don't let your guard down. Lady Beatrice is certain to stage an attack on the wedding. That'd be so cool, breaking in to steal the bride. 410, he's not the bride, he's the groom. I said what they meant. Yuri. The sister snipers teams, the sister sniper teams on the chandeliers were using extremely highly capable surveillance agents to track the movements of several hundred attendees. If any of them made any suspicious movements, the siester would immediately be given permission to fire. The one on the chandelier is siester 127. That overworking monster sniper could pulverize a human target from 2 kilometers away. The one on the chandelier across from that is siester 20. Her firing rate is 6,000 shots per minute. However, she's using a portable magazine this time, so she'll use up all of her shots in about 2 seconds. That lazy bum can barely do her job for just 2 seconds. Nyeh. Slowly, and making a show of it, the two walked down the red carpeted path. Butler's eyes were blank. If you looked closely, you could tell that Erika was dragging him by the arm she held. In other words, they weren't walking together. This was a ceremony for Erika to show off to everyone that this man belonged to her. Behind the bride and groom walked the 7 Sisters of Purgatory, who held a long ceremonial staff in the shape of the one-winged eagle. Come on, Butler. What's he lazing about for? This is why people call him incompetent. I can understand Beatrice-sama's pain better than anyone else. It's all because that stupid butler caused a logic error. Stupid, stupid, stupid! Beatrice-sama will not fail to sloth and let his wedding go on. Of course! Beatrice-sama is greedy. She won't let someone else take away her favorite toy. She'll definitely show up. I hear that the reception's gonna have tons of delicious food. I want to wear a wedding dress now. Ben Castel and Lambda Delta were in the noble seating on the balcony. They sipped questionably looking carbonated cocktails as they looked down upon the show. What a splendid wedding dress. This sort of thing's not bad. It's just the opening performance. It's pretty cruel. What event are you expecting to be the headliner? Ben, don't tell me you believe Beato will come, do you? You know as well as I do that Butler's locked room is perfect. There's no way that Beato could win. Right? You must have heard too. There's a chance that the window seal on the next room over has been torn. It seems that Blanor has managed to seal that off for now, but she just denied the concept instead of sealing the actual window. You'll fly out of the window again. This one-winged eagle. Wanna make a bet? Oh, on whether Beato will come? I bet she comes with certainty. I bet she comes miraculously. This isn't gonna work. The Witch of Certainty and the Witch of Miracles were both sure that Beato would come. However, they were very interested in exactly how she would break the locked room and take Butler back. You had a look behind the scenes, so you already know, don't you? The trick? More or less. But Erika's done a hell of a job, so now I'm even I'm stumped. Liar. Oh, I'm sure you found the answer already. There is one, is there? There is one, isn't there? A trick that can save Butler. There is. But it's tough. And if that move is used, part of Beato's heart will be exposed. Isn't that right? Oh, so you do know. Hey, wanna change your bet? To what? To whether Beato or Erika wins. Sure, if you're willing to bet on Erika. You're on. Oh, you're betting on Erika? What makes you think she can win? If this trick is part of Beato's heart, then Butler, the game master, will hesitate to expose it. And so, they cannot win. It will probably be a draw. I'm sure they'll confuse matters and run away. Butler sworn to lay Beato to rest. Ben, you're being too naive. The bet was made based on the assumption of a certain miracle that Beato would come. Virgilia, who was standing in the front row, tried to call out as soon as Butler walked by. She tried to tell him that the windowsill in the next room over hadn't been confirmed, hoping that this would give him a hint. However, she had been marked perfectly. The instant she tried to lean forward, two sister sisters right behind her grabbed her arms. It was a powerful force preventing her from going forward. Unable to move, she was forced to stay there and watch as Butler walked past. Even now, he is fighting that locked room all by himself. However, he cannot get out of that locked room by his own power alone. Unless someone comes to save him, he can't get out. Unless that child comes to save him, Butler-kun will be trapped. If there is a key to that locked room, I am certain Milady will find it. Milady, I'm sure you have gone through many trials in your life. But please, this is one trial that you must overcome. I'm certain that you can do it. I do not doubt that in the slightest. The bride and groom slowly processed down the path to the grave and reached the altar. Though walking slowly was ceremonious and proper etiquette, it was also tiring. Erika glanced over at Butler. Of course, his eyes were blank, his heart was still inside that locked room. Now the wedding ceremony would finally begin. People live for the sake of love. Therefore, today, you have fulfilled the purpose of your lives. Oh, how great is the power to live, the power of love. I pray that the brightness of this day blesses these two for all time. Come now, you who love one another, make the oath of love. In place of the husband who cannot speak, let the wife deliver the vows on behalf of both. Butler swears to Erika, and Erika swears to Butler, to support each other both in sickness and in health. I didn't catch that, Butler-san. If you have some objection, please say it a bit more clearly, in a loud voice. If you have anything further to say, please get yourself out of that logic error locked room first. Don't worry, I'll support you forever until that day comes. You have heard the couple's oath of love. Oh, let this oath be eternal. Thunderous applause celebrated their marriage of servitude. After the oath, they would physically signify the bond. It was exchanging of the rings. The Territory Lord ring with the one-winged eagle engraved on it that sat on Butler's finger would become Erika's. By this, she would become the ruler of this game board. And in exchange, Butler's finger would be given a diamond ring that Erika had prepared. At a glance, it looked like a ring adorned by it just looked like a ring adorned by a large diamond. However, this cursed ring would force Butler into eternal subservience and brand him as another's property. Yes. Let the pair exchange rings.
身動きできぬ
Since the
夫の指を
husband's fingers cannot move, let his wife support him. Erika respectfully took Butler's left hand, then slowly pulled off the territory lord ring that sat on his ring finger. That was the ring Beato had entrusted him with. Erika stole it away.
これが
This is the ring that the woman left, that woman left to you, right?
それを
How does it feel to have it stolen away by a woman like me?
はい
Huh?
聞こえません
I can't hear you.
もう一度お願い
Please
し
say
ます
it one more time.
地獄もちろん
To hell.
なんだ
Oh, is that all?
それなら
Well,
ご安
there's
心
no
を
need to worry, Butler-san. Erika pressed her lips up against Butler's earlobe as if biting it and told him they were there.
ここが
We
そ
are
こで
already
すよ
here. Then slowly she took Beato's ring, which she had stolen from Butler, and slipped it onto her own left hand.
では花よ
And now the
続
bride
いて
may put
あ
her
なた
ring
の
on the
指輪を
groom.
花婿に
すごい指
This
輪ね
one's pretty
彼
incredible.
を永遠に
It's the
逃がさ
shackle
ない
that'll hold him in place for
これは
all
傘だ
time.
わ
Yes, it's custom made. Even Butler's blank eyes could see the diamond ring Erika held. It was like Erika herself. On the outside, it shone beautifully and possessed an absolute hardness that would bend to no one's will. On the inside, it symbolized never letting go of the prey it had latched onto. It had 8 sharp thorns pointing inwards. If they had been growing out of the outer side, it would look like the color of a hellhound. However, who ever heard of putting those on the inside? She turned the diamond until it clicked and the thorns retracted. In other words, if she twisted it after pulling the ring on his finger, the inward-facing thorns would bite down, never releasing until the end of time. Then even his soul would be trapped, and his body, mind, and soul would be forced to serve Erika for all eternity. Faccio io dopo. Who the hell would ever wear a ring like that? He couldn't even finish speaking that simple phrase. And furthermore, those awkward words were the only ones he could resist. She raised Butler's left hand and stroked his ring finger hungrily. Erika held the ring of servitude against the tip of his finger. A ring can't hurt if it's made to fit too tightly, and if it can become impossible. Aspetta. A ring that porca di quella puzzola. A ring can hurt if it's made to fit too tightly, and it can even become impossible to take off. However, this ring was never intended to be removed for life anyway, so its inner band had been mercilessly narrowed. Even without the thorns, forcing a small ring like this would hurt.
この指輪は
This ring
あなた
will
の
seal away
身も
your body,
魂
heart and soul
すべ
for
て
all
を永遠
eternity.
に閉じ込めますそしてあなたは
And you'll become an eternal living puppet.
死ぬことも
I
許し
won't
ません
even let you die.
私に永
I'll
遠に
defile and humiliate you
はず
endlessly.
私が勝
And
利
every
の
time I
意志の
forget
味を忘れ
the
るたびに
heady taste of victory,
あなたは
I'll use your
その
body to
ように
remind me
何度も
over
何
and
度
over
も
again.
舌は噛める
If you're going to bite off your tongue, now's the time.
指輪が通る
Once this goes on your finger, you won't even be able to do that. Da intellectual R parola diventa R parola e basta, grande Erika. Butler didn't even possess the strength to bite his tongue, and even if he had possessed it, he didn't want to give up before finding a way to escape that locked room. She could never bring himself to commit suicide. However, once this ring was forced upon him, he would never be able to even think about escaping from that room, much less kill himself. Stop it. No, here we go. The thing is going in now. It wasn't just the pain of having his finger forced through the tight ring. The curse of the ring fiercely tormented Butler's body from the inside. That pain would always torment Butler, but fortunately for him, the ring's power would also steal away the mind that could understand that pain. Erika kept screwing on the demonic ring that was far too small. It's impossible. Per fortuna sappiamo il contesto. Don't worry, it will fit, no problem. With an obscene laugh, Erika let a silver thread drip from her mouth and wet his finger on the ring. Just relax. I'll stick it in all at once. Please don't waste your energy on resisting. It'll hurt less if you don't resist, okay? Look, now it's sliding right on. Ok, è intenzionale per il discorso che da veramente da intellectual R apist. Sì, è fatto apposta, è fatto apposta. Anche la saliva, anche il modo in cui parla. È fatto apposta perché questa è una violazione completa di Butler. Erika lo farebbe. Slowly, Butler's finger went deeper and deeper through the ring. He was pushed through the iron ring of pain and humiliation, which would never be removed again. Look, see? It's all the way down to the base. Hurts. Take it off. The demonic ring squeezed his finger so tightly that it seemed that the finger would snap off along with the bone. Could Butler's hazy expression of anguish really communicate how unbearable this sickening pain was? Okay, now that it's on all the way, let's add the final touch, okay? Now, you'll be mine forever. Erika touched the ring diamond knob. If she twisted it, the thorns would bite in and never let go again. Stop it. Sure. Just say, spare me, Erika-sama, and I'll stop. Spare me, Erika-sama, please. I swear to spend the rest of my life as your dog with a collar around my neck, so at least spare me that ring. If you can say that, I won't make you wear the ring. Yes?
よく聞こえ
I
ません
can't really hear you.
さ
You
絶
have
対
never
てめえを
forgive
許
you
さね
あなたをこんな
for making you suffer like this.
え違うベアトの
For
指輪
filing
怪我した
Beata's
お前を
ring.
俺は
I will never forgive you.
許さね
Though Butler's eyes had supposedly been forced into a clouded state, they looked strong for just an instant. However, it really was only for an instant. Butler had used up all of the Butler had used up the last of his fleeting resistance just to say those words. In his dim consciousness, he had bitten his own tongue to stay alert, so that he could complete his world of resistance.
やはり
Of
あなたは
course,
飼いな
it
らせない
seems you
犬
aren't
って
the
感
kind
じ
of
です
dog that can be tamed,
でも
but that's what I like
そこが
about you.
ね
Erika smiled, then she turned the diamond. The instant she did, Butler let out a voiceless scream and threw his head back. His howl had no voice and could be heard by no one. However, it still rang out throughout the cathedral. Minchia. Abbiamo ancora più o meno 20 minuti, quindi andiamo avanti, anche se è finito il capitolo. Troverò un punto dove fermarmi. The Duel of the Lovers. A desolate wind blew through the golden rose garden. Shannon and Kanon had already finished walking 19 steps, and their backs still faced each other. At the signal of the demon responsible for this trial, they would both turn and settle this. Each of them held one of the dueling pistols that the demons had prepared. The bullets promised certain death no matter where they hit on the body. The duel would not end until one of them died. George and Jessica just quietly watched the ones they loved. They had already entrusted all of their thoughts to them and their fates. Just watching over their partners was now the only way they could show their trust. Kanon and Shannon stood quietly, with their backs turned. They had already put the emotions of the many days they had spent together behind them. The next time they laid eyes on each other, nothing would be asked of them except pulling that trigger. The only one who still had no determination or resolution with regards to this duel was Beato. The closer that moment came, the less she understood. The love between George and Shannon wasn't standing in the way of the love between Jessica and Kanon, or vice versa. Why? Why, when both sides could find happiness, were they forced to kill each other?
わからない
I don't understand.
どうして
I just can't understand.
妹よ
Little sister,
我らには
we are not permitted to do anything but watch.
セパルさん
Separ-san, Fulful-san,
どうしてこんな
why this
あ
duel?
なたの恋の試練
This
じ
is
ゃない
no trial of love.
やっぱりあなた
You
たち
really
は
are
悪魔なんで
demons.
すどちらかの恋人たちを破綻させて
You just want to enjoy watching one of the pairs fall apart.
静かに
Quiet.
恋人たちの邪魔にな
You'll
る
get in the way of the lovers.
邪魔をしてるのはあなたたち
You are the
じゃない
ones getting in their
ど
way.
ちらかが倒れ
The
る
one will fall.
倒れた方の
The
恋
one
人
who
たち
loves that the person. One will no, one will fall. The one who loves that person will
あなたた
grieve.
ちさえなければ
If only the two, if only you two weren't around, no one would be sad.
それは違う
That is not true.
僕たちが
If we
この
hadn't
決
set
闘を
up
取り
this
持たなか
duel,
ったら
二組は
then
どちら
both
も破綻
pairs
したわ
would have fallen apart.
これは必要な
This
決闘なの
duel is necessary.
私は
haven't been able to accept that since the beginning. Do you think love can succeed without a miracle of magic? The only thing needed for love is the two who love each other, isn't it? This duel is meaningless. So stop it, you two. Shannon and Kanon both. Why do you have to fight each other to the death when you were once as close as true siblings? Just can't understand. Everyone should have been able to hear Beato's yell. However, no one's expression changed. That's right. An impression that you noticed. I'm impressed that you noticed. That is the truth of love. What is? Love needs nothing more than two people who love one another. Therefore, when there are not two people, we must use a duel to make that number become two. I could understand if it were a duel between two people fighting over one woman. If it were a duel to reduce the awkward shape of a love triangle down to a pair. But there are two and two. The world formed by each pair is complete, isn't it? There's nothing compelling them to fight. The minimum number of people that can create a world is two. Only when two people are together can a world be born and love fulfilled. That is why this duel is necessary, so they can reach that number of people. Are you saying that furniture is less than human? That doesn't count as a whole person? Correct. Furniture is less than human. So, furniture and human cannot add up to two. That's insane! If two people love each other, their circumstances don't matter. Oh, yes they do. Do you really think that the circumstances of two in love don't matter? Is it permissible to fall in love with a man who has a wife? Is it permissible to fall in love with a woman who has a husband? Is it permissible to fall in love with your parents? Is it permissible to fall in love with your children? There are many situations where circumstances forbid romantic love. Just what is furniture? Why mustn't furniture fall in love? Because their soul amounts to less than a full person. Shannon, Kanon, and the piece that you are as well. All of you are furniture, subhuman beings who do not possess a full person's soul. There is only one thing necessary to love a human. That is the possession of a person's full soul. That is why a pair in love can create a world. For example, do you think a man with a wife that has the right to love another woman? Of course not. If he loved two women, neither would get a full person worth of love. A man such as that would be not qualified to love. See? There are plenty of people in plenty of circumstances who have no right to love another. As long as both people feel love, nothing else matters. That is a comforting lie of a naive love. We cannot forgive humans who falsely pretend that they have the right to love. We cannot permit the love of subhuman beings, of those who do not make up the minimum number of people to create a world. That is the purpose of this trial, of our trial. To allow sinful souls to regain the soul of a whole person and become capable of true love.
ゼパル様、フルフル様。
Zepar-sama, Furfur-sama.
僕たちの心の準備ができました。
Our hearts are ready.
どうか決闘の合図を
Please,
お願いします。
give the signal to start the duel. The pair, bidding farewell, quietly asked for the signal to be given. Zepar nodded silently, then walked to a place that could be seen by both of them. Zepar spoke. Furfur spoke in a voice quiet enough to avoid distracting the two
見
duelists.
ているといいわ。
Watch.
愛し合う恋人たち
Was this duel to see which of the lovers will fall apart?
いい
No,
え、これは破綻
this
の
isn't a
ために
duel to see who falls apart.
本当の恋を
This
成就
is
す
a
る
duel to make true love succeed.
私には
Don't understand what you two are saying.
いいえ、
No,
わかりなさ
you
い。
must understand.
これは
This
本
moment
当に人を
marks
愛
the
する
birth
こ
of
と
a
ができる
human
人間が
who is truly
誕生
capable
する
of
瞬間
loving another person.
意味がわからない。
Don't understand.
どちらが勝とうと
No
も
matter which of them
どう
wins,
か祝福
please
して
congratulate them.
今彼らに
This is the moment where their days as furniture come to an end.
合図は簡
The
単。
signal is simple.
僕が
I will count to 3.
2の3と同時
When
に
I reach 3,
決闘開始
the
だ。
duel will commence.
承知してます。
Understood.
同じく
Same here.
2人が共に弾を
If
外
both of you
したら
miss, the duel will be temporarily suspended.
再び弾
You
を
will be
与え
given bullets again and will start over from the beginning with your backs to each other.
決着がつく
I
まで
guess you'll repeat until it's all settled.
ゼパル
Zepar,
この決闘
have you seen this sort of duel many times before?
もちろん
Of course.
何度も
I have seen it many times.
大抵
Usually,
何度
how
も
many times do they need to face off before it's over?
ほとんどの場合
In most cases, it is decided in the first round.
みんな
Everyone must be really good shots.
違うよ
That's not it.
片方が外せば
If one side misses, the other can corner them at their leisure and shoot.
初段をもし外したら
Miss the first bullet, and there's almost no chance of winning.
しかし
However, if you take too long, you lose before you can even pull the trigger.
同じ負けるな
If you're going to lose
せ
anyway,
めて引き金を引い
you'd
て
at least want to have pulled the trigger first.
いい覚悟だよ
That is a good mindset, you two.
では
Now,
行くよ
here we go.
Each
2の 3
In the golden rose garden, when number 3 was yelled, the sound of gunfire rang out once. Even the people watching couldn't tell whether that was a single gun firing or the sound of both going off at the same time. In the midst of the stench of gunpowder and white smoke, there with the gun raised and smoke trailing from the barrel, was Kanon. Shannon was lying on the earth face down.
シャノンさいや
No,
シャノンが倒れたのは
Shannon dropped before the gunshot. Jessica's distressed expression was enough to explain what had happened. Slowly, Shannon stood up. There was no bullet wound anywhere on her body. At the time of the signal, Shannon had thrown herself to the ground, dodging the bullet. It had been a gamble. If Kanon had turned around and taken the time to aim carefully before shooting, then he would have shot her as she lay there. However, if Kanon shot as soon as he turned around, she would be able to dodge it. Kanon had also gambled. He did not underestimate Shannon's skill with a firearm. He was fully aware that hoping Shannon would be timid enough to let him shoot first could result in him losing before even pulling the trigger. So he had decided to shoot right away, and he had predicted that when he shot, Shannon would reflexively pull the trigger too. Since he was already planning to shoot right away, he was sure that his readiness would allow him to shoot with greater accuracy than her. If Kanon had cautiously turned around and Shannon had shot him instantly with the strength of her will, then Kanon wouldn't have been able to pull the trigger. So it wasn't that Kanon had acted hastily. The two had simply given it their all, let their faith to the heaven, and reached this result. I didn't imagine that my quick-tempered sister would shoot at will. Would shoot at all. And surprised too. I didn't think that the old, prudent Kanon would shoot as soon as he turned. As Shannon quietly pointed the barrel at him, she slowly walked forward. She planned on cautiously closing the gap until she reached a distance from which she could hit him with even more certain accuracy. And Kanon had already lost any means of fighting back. He could only try to dodge Shannon's bullet and place his bet on the second round. They both had the same view of the situation, which meant one could be taken by surprise. Isn't over yet! Kanon dashed forward like a tornado, bent over so low that he almost crawled over his shadow. This duel could be settled by a bullet, but he wasn't the only one who had a bullet. If he could steal Shannon's gun away from her, he could turn this around, and if Shannon could calmly shoot through Kanon, it would be all over. The odds that Shannon would miss or that he could get close enough to her before she fired. The odds that Shannon would miss or that he the odds that Shannon would miss or that he could get close enough to her before she fired, Kanon bet all the chips he had on these. Shannon could draw Kanon in until the last second, then shoot him from a closer distance. She could also pull the trigger just before he reached her, and they would start over from the beginning, even if she missed. Shannon kept her gun pointing at Kanon's forehead as she compared this option till the final moment. She led her shot, calculating the distance he had already moved and the time it would take to pull the trigger. Lady Luck smiled impartially. Oh, damn it! In a flash, Kanon leapt to within striking distance of Shannon as she missed the final moment to pull the trigger. He swung his hand up and smashed the gun she held upwards. That strike sent her gun flying into the sky. At the same time, Kanon's gun also flew from his hand and soared into the air. The two guns danced a rondeau through the sky, reaching their peak and began to fall. By that time, neither of them knew which gun was theirs. The two guns were exactly the same. Everything about them was identical. There was no way to tell them apart. However, there was one difference. Only one of them had a bullet inside. The pair raised their hands to the sky, trying to grasp their fate, their miracle. It was as though they were trying to grasp the wing of a descending angel of miracles. The pair looked up at the brilliant sky and entrusted everything to Lady Luck. Then they each grabbed one of the guns out of the air, and after dancing a momentary rondeau, their arms crossed each other. Even that was like a dance, and the barrels of each of their guns came to a dead stop against each other's forehead. They could not know which gun held the bullet. When they both pulled the trigger, one would die and one would remain alive. The match would end. George and Jessica had no way of knowing how it would turn out until that moment came. However, was it really impossible for the two holding the guns to know? The barrel of Kanon's gun, which had already been fired, must have been warm, and the barrel of the other gun, which Shannon hadn't fired, should have been ice cold. So perhaps the pair of them did realize which gun was which, and yet both expressions were as solemn as they could be, showing that they would hold total belief and zero doubt in their own fate until the moment the trigger was pulled. Don't be sad. We'll meet again. Soon in the Golden Land. We should have done this much sooner. We should have done this much sooner. And that way, we wouldn't have to see each other again. It's alright. Considering what day this is, even this duel is just a farce. You're right. If we are just going to revive in the Golden Land anyway, it really is just a farce. Then, I'll see you later. Yeah, you too. So long. Hey, what's going on? Hang in there! Suddenly, Kanon fell to the floor as he had an attack of anemia. It happened without any prior warning, so everyone rushed to him in alarm. What they saw surprised them. There was a single strand of blood across his forehead, making it look as though he had cracked open. Huh? What's happened? What's going on? Trying to get a look at the wound, Goda wiped Kanon's forehead with a handkerchief. However, his forehead was perfectly smooth, without any trace of a wound. And yet, almost as though it was seeping through his skin, blood was pouring out. What are you doing? Stop the bleeding already. I would, but there's no wound. But the blood won't stop coming. Hang in there, Kanon-kun. Kanon's face was pale, and though his eyes were open, they had lost the light of the living. Just as though he was a puppet whose string had been cut, he passed away. So long, Kanon-kun. And thank you. Jessica dashed up to Kanon's corpse, held it, pressed her forehead against his, and as her own forehead grew wet with Kanon's still warm blood, she wailed. I won. And now I have the right to love you. At last. Shannon leaned against George's chest as though the string holding her up had been cut. George held her in silence. There was nothing in the golden rose garden except the wind that carried golden flower petals. and the sound of Jessica's heartbroken wails. Is your trial for us finished now?
十分さ。
It is.
おめでとう。
Congratulations.
残ったのは
You
君たち
two
だ。
were the only ones who remained.
君たちを祝
We
福
will
す
give
る
you
わ
our
で
blessing.
も忘れないで
But please don't forget,
愛を育
you
む
are
のは
now responsible for nurturing your love.
この奇跡が生み出
Please
した
take
恋
good
の
care
種
of
を
the seed of love
ど
that
うか
this
しっかり
miracle has
育ててほし
created.
い。
もちろんさ。
Of course. I swear it to her and the both of you.
それでは
And now, let's Shannon have the miracle of magic.
今こそ
Now,
君
your
の
soul
魂
will
を
become
人間に
human.
一人分に満たそ
You
う。
will become a full person.
集え満たぬ魂よ
Come together in complete
一
souls.
なる魂となって
Become one and know love. When Zephyr and Furfur faced the heavens and yelled, the miracle of love gathered the souls around Shannon. They came from the losers of the trial, one from Kanon, who had been defeated, and from Beato, who had dropped out. Slowly the bodies of the two began to break down into flecks of gold dust.
これは
There is
これは
what's
どういう
going
こと
on
だ
here?
負けたら消えると
No one has said that
聞いていないぞ
the losers would disappear. As she yelled, Beato the Elder supported the body of her fading little sister. However, the two demons were smiling quietly.
カノンは死んだから
Kanon disappeared because he
そ
died.
してベアトは
Beato was born to love Butler, so without that right, she too will vanish.
これはとても光
It is
栄
very fair.
あなたが生き残った
If you had survived, the other two would have vanished instead.
我が妹よしっかり
Hang in there, little sister. Hang in
バ
there.
トラの密室を解き
Weren't you going to solve Butler's locked room and save
こ
him?
んなところで
What
果
are
て
you
てどう
going?
する
What are you doing? Biting the dust in a place like
そ
this?
れでも
You call yourself a part of our complete form?
どうしてバトラ
Why
さん
was I born for the sole purpose
生まれたんです
of loving Butler-san?
どうして私がバトラさんを好
Why
きなの
do I like him?
好きになる理
The
由
truth is,
実は
I don't know
知らないんです
why I fell in love with him.
はあ
What?
こんな時
You want to
何を
talk about that now?
だって私
After all,
生まれた時に
when I was
バ
born,
トラさんを
I
愛し
was told to love Butler-san and be loved by
愛
him.
されなさいってそれが目的で
That
呼び
was
出
the
され
purpose of my birth.
だからどうして
So
バトラさんを
I
私は好きなの
don't
か
really know
よく知らない
why I like him.
人を好きにな
People
る
don't need a reason to
理
fall
由
in
など
love.
いらぬわ消えるな
Don't disappear.
そなたが消え
If
た
you
ら
disappear, who will
誰
save
がバトラ
Butler?
を救う我が妹よ
Listen,
ベアト
little sister Beato.
ベアトリーチェ
Is it that I like Butler-san? Mother?
ああ俺ってさ
You know,
家庭的なことか
I'm not really a big fan of the domestic type of
こ
girl.
の通りガサツ
You
な
know
設
me,
定の
I'm a rough around the edges kind of guy, right?
レディーファースト
I just can't handle acting politely in front of girls. Ladies first and all of
だ
that.
から
So,
強いて好み
if you
は
had
って
to,
言われる
if
と
I had to say what type I liked,
そうだな
you know, maybe a Jessica type girl could be my thing.
俺がガサツなように
If I'm crude, shouldn't she be too? A rough, relaxed relationship with someone who can cuss and joke around with me.
男女とか気
So
にしな
we're
い
not
でバカ
always
がやれ
thinking about I am a guy and she's a
手が理
girl.
想かもな
That could just be perfect.
だからもしも
So, if I ever get a girlfriend,
いつも俺が
I'd like someone I could joke around with all the time, like I do with Jessica. Huh?
容姿の好み
What would she look like?
別にそんなの
I'm not too
気にし
picky
ねえけど
about that.
まあ
But if she did happen to be one of those blue-eyed blondes with big boobs you see in Western films,
最
yeah,
高だ
that'd be
ぜ
awesome.
ちいちもませろー
I'd love to rub those boobs. Beatrice, listen to me. I am giving you my love for Ushiromiya Butler. You are to become the kind of woman Ushiromiya Butler desires. You will have the golden hair he likes. You will have the blue eyes he likes. You will have a personality that matches his. And then you are to love him in my place. And if fate allows it, be loved by him. I can no longer love him. Please take this desire I couldn't bring to fruition. Those feelings too great for me to bear, and see them through yourself. From this day forward, you are no longer From this day forward, you are no longer the Rokkenjima ghost that lives only to play pranks. From this day forward, you will be the master of this land, waiting for the day that he comes to fulfill his promise. From this day forward, you will do this in my place. So, from this day forward, you will no longer be me. Please forgive me for pushing all of my troubles onto you, while I alone try to find happiness. From this day forward, you have the right to hate everything. From this day forward, you are the Golden Witch Beatrice. And one day, you will destroy everything, revive everything, and bring blessings to all lovers. When that day comes, I pray that you and I will both have found happiness. From this day forward, you will no longer be me. From this day forward, I will no longer be you. The two of us will split a single soul and share it. And though, of course, you won't amount to a complete soul, I'm sure our dreams will be more numerous than most. Let us be blessed, my darling Beatrice. No one else can see your form, but I can. And if you are loved by a lot of people, I'm sure they'll all start seeing you too. We can all see if we have love.